Hey guys, this is Mark Shawson, the Pattern Trader, and I'd like to just give a quick shout out to Lars. Lars was kind enough to leave this review on our website, and I'm quickly going to give Lars a shout out. Lars says, I followed Mark since the autumn of 2017 and learned a lot in a short time through Mark and Peter's exceptional educational and thoughtful seminars. Every Sunday I get to take part in Mark's trading thoughts as he easily explains via the charts the coming weeks for profit making. Through the Elite program, I also get every trade each day that usually turns out to be better than what appeared in the beginning. Mark is a generous and open-handed person who does more than many others for us traders. My bad experiences that I experienced when I first started trading and sought help on the internet and was deceived by rogue stockbrokers and traders is now an old mistake that I never want or need to meet again. Now I only deal with the information I get from Mark. Thank you, Mark and Peter, for sharing so generously with your knowledge to me. All the best, Lars from Sweden. So Lars, thanks a ton for that. So I guess what I wanted to talk about today was, hang on, I think I'm going to need those glasses again. You're often told that you can't pick the tops or bottoms of markets. And I suppose, it's always fraught with peril to try and do so. But I've found, that I'm pretty adept at doing so. And, obviously it's a combination of a couple things, which I'm going to try and explain to you graphically. I'm going to show you a trade that I spotted the exact top on several weeks ago. Since that time, that trade has plummeted 1,000 pips since I shorted it. The chart was in the British pound versus the Australian dollar. And the email went out on April 6th. And let me just kind of reference it here. The entitlement of the eBay email was the euro and pound turn. So at that time, I was spotting a turn in the euro and the British pound versus the New Zealand and Australian dollars. Previously, for the last 3-4 years, pound New Zealand and pound Australian have been heading higher. I've largely taken advantage of this up move, but about 3 weeks ago, I started advising our members that I saw a big turn coming, specifically in the British pound versus the Australian dollar. And I'm going to flash this chart. This is the email that was sent out on August 6th in the pound versus Australian dollar. I recommended at that time a sell stop at a price level of 20071. And right now we're trading at about 190.20, which means that this pair has plummeted 1,050 pips since I suggested to our members to sell the pound versus Australian short. And I said at the time, pound versus Australian dollar appears to be in the process of forming a double top, a bear price pattern at the apex of an ascending broadening formation. So to my mind, both of these price patterns, the ascending broadening formation, as well as the double top, indicated a reversal from this multi-year trajectory in pound Australian dollar that took prices from the 170 level to over the 2000 level. But the combination of the ascending broadening formation as well as the double top told me that this was going to turn. Now, just because I see these patterns start emerging, I don't automatically just blast right into the market. For my mind, I need to see some price action that gets me closer and closer to a high reward versus risk opportunity. And as you can see on the chart, again, there are two inside day bars. These are small range bars. These suggest a congestion, a coil, and then because of the prior patterns and this coiling activity, I surmised that this thing was going to head lower. But even if I think it's going to head lower, I don't just go right into the market. I put a pending order, what we call a sell stop order, which will trigger only in the event that the market momentum goes in the direction that I anticipate. And in this case, this email, we sent out the sell stop at 20071. It was triggered, and now we're trading 1,000 pips below the entry level for this trade. Now, the great news is And I'm showing you the real-time chart of pound versus Australian dollar, where I got in at 2071 and where it's trading right now at about 190.20. And so I look at find these opportunities all the time. And in fact, there's something coming up on my radar right now that looks like a similar opportunity. An instrument that has been trading higher and higher and now has kind of hit the apex of a price pattern and has got this little inside bar, and I think it's going to turn lower. And so counterintuitively, the instrument that I'm looking to maybe hit an air pocket at current levels and head lower is spot gold. The ticker symbol is XAUUSD. And gold has shot up from $1,450 to about $1,750 recently. And again, sometimes it's fraught with risk to pick tops or bottoms. But there are times where, if you look at the pattern, if you look at the price action, you can get in just as the horse is about to leave the barn. And this is where I find extraordinary opportunities where a market turns from one direction to another, and there's all kinds of money to be made on the other side as it catches all the participants that were complacent. In the case of pound versus Australian dollar, which was heading higher over 3 years, all of a sudden it hit an air pocket and turned, and before you know it, it's 1,000 pips the other way before most people know what's happening. But because these patterns indicated what was happening, I was in well ahead of the action. And I think we have an opportunity like that in gold. And guess what? If I'm wrong, I don't have to take a lot of risk because what I'm going to do is place my entry order strategically on the other side of today's inside bar. And then I'm going to put my sell stop, or my stop loss rather, not too far away on the other side of the inside bar. So I don't have a big risk and I could have an enormous reward. And I will do these trades all day long. So even if I'm incorrect 50% of the time or 60% of the time, I can make a lot of money by taking a small risk and capitalizing on monster moves like the 1,000 pip move in the pound versus Australian dollar trade that we just saw. So I do think that gold has a lot of the parameters that I saw in pound versus Australian dollar, could surprise a lot of people, and there could be some great pips to be made on the downside. And as I said, if I'm wrong, I'll dust myself off and look for another opportunity. But I get a sneaking feeling that we could see gold rolling over in a big way here and take a lot of people by surprise. So I hope you found this useful. If you would, like to understand my process, if you would like to understand how I assess technical price patterns, if you'd like to understand, how I look at trades and set up trades on a weekly basis, then I would suggest you download my weekly video report. Comes out every Sunday before the market opens. It's a very comprehensive overview of the markets. There's always a 20 or 30-minute video in there that I go through most of the markets and explain comprehensively what I'm looking at on a price basis. And if you like this kind of information, I would suggest you check it out. And you can do so for the grand price of any price you want to pay. So, anything you want to pay for this thing, we'll make it available to you. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you on the next weekly video report. And until next time, I wish you a healthy and prosperous trading day.